Okay, this is part two on the people of Mexico. I'm going to try to stop rocking in the chair. That just looks bad. Looks like I'm some kind of psycho. Um, this is important for all of us to understand. We have not reached a point in time in human history where somebody has declared life to be over. I know things look difficult. Things look difficult for me, and I know things look difficult for other people around the world. But we should never be under any impression that because of the difficulty in life, we no longer have to hold ourselves to high moral standards. I can very easily say I'm struggling. It's okay for me to go to a store and steal milk and bread. After all I'm doing is trying to feed myself. And life is one of those basic necessities. Food is one of those basic necessities of life. The reality, however, is that no, I don't have the right to take somebody else's private property. And I have to hold myself to high moral standards. There isn't anything different between a person in Mexico and a person in the United States of America. Both people have a brain. Both individuals have arm and legs, back, strong back, and both people are able to work. We all understand right and wrong. That's not even an issue of debate. Every single one of us, regardless of where we were raised, has an understanding of what is right and wrong. I'm going to continue to the next point. Many people think that people from Mexico are coming to America for opportunities because they cannot make it. To give a thorough understanding of the economic dynamics of Mexico takes more than two or three videos posted on YouTube. However, the simplicity of it is that for a very long time, Mexico was what you would call an agricultural economy. They grew fruits and vegetables, they sold fruits and vegetables, and that's how they made their money. The world changed, and now we're in an the world is in an industrial economy. Mexico had to change, and the leaders of Mexico went about trying to get Mexico into the industrial economy, where you provide a service, you make a machine, you sell the machine. You study at a university, you get a business degree, and you sell business services to a company, whether it be in Mexico or somewhere else. But there are people who just for whatever reason don't want to adapt to the modern world, want to continue living on the farm, which is perfectly fine. If you sat down and figured out how much land one person needs to sustain their life, you're going to find out that's not a great amount of land is required. So every person could very easily grow vegetables and fruit to sustain themselves. We really don't need to eat meat. Animals eat grass, let's say a grazing cow, and then we eat the cow and we get the nutrients that the cow got from the grass. We could very easily leave out the cow and just eat the grass, or eat carrot or lettuce or tomatoes, onions, what have you, and apples and oranges and peaches. So eating the meat is more of a thing of a cultural evolution. The human body can very easily sustain itself with vegetables, fruits and vegetables, and of course grains, which we don't need an animal for. It grows from the ground, and we can very easily grow it ourselves. The Mexican economy does all right by the majority of the people of Mexico. I've met people in Mexico who have told me they have no interest or inclination to come live in the United States of America because they're fine in Mexico. They're making the amount of money they want to make and they're living the life they want to live. So you're not getting doctors, lawyers, career people crossing into the United States of America illegally. 2008, the increase in violence, a bunch of people who more or less figured out they had to crosshairs on their back decided to leave Mexico, escape from Mexico, and come into the United States of America. So now you have a bunch of people who were drug dealers in Mexico living in America and putting the money, the rewards of criminal life to work by buying businesses, furniture stores, restaurants, even small city banks. I'm concerned about that person. Again, by studying behavior, I know that a person who spends their life or the majority of their life in criminal activity isn't going to all of a sudden be a different type of person just because they change from one border to another, from one side of the border to another. And I'm keeping tabs on the time, and I want to be very clear, you know, what the subject is because people get emotional, but they don't look at the facts. I've lived here. You're not going to tell me about the people of Mexico because I, one, speak the language, and two, over 35 years of my life has been spent in El Paso, Texas. And I haven't been locked away in an office with no windows. I've done work where on a daily basis I am in contact with the people of Mexico and I hear their attitudes and their criticisms. And I've written papers, and trust me, they don't like Americans. They do not have a great opinion of Americans, and they practice the modern practice of being vulgar and offensive with their language towards Americans. Of course, you cannot overgeneralize, but I do believe that we live in a society where people do not behave like decent human beings. And the admonition for the American is, do you want to go down the same road that Mexico went down in? Gonna have to stop here and pursue this with part 3.